Hello everyone, it's Roger and Abe here for episode 24 of the Disney Infinity and Beyond webcast presented by Vinimation Kingdom. You might notice a nice new fancy graphics. We've just in the process of just changing over a load of bits and pieces on the website, giving it some nice new look, and also just kind of this is phase one. This is phase one of a redesign, so we'll have some more coming soon. But yes, so this all looks nice and pretty. So,
yeah, it's very nice actually.
Yes. So the website has just changed. We've changed the colours, we're changing the logo, and we're going to have a redesign of the website coming soon. We're currently working on that in the background and doing a few other bits and pieces. So it should all look, you know, it'll all make sense when phase 2 kicks in. It's like a Marvel set of movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, this week, it's kind of been a slow news week. It's not exactly been that busy. It's traditional, really. We've got some new books. There's a new search option, and we got some villains out this week. And also, me and Abe are just going to kind of have a little bit of a discussion about power discs. It's going to be a bit vague. We've decided just to wing it this week. We're just going to wing it. Right, so let's kick off with the first bit of news we had. Kind of a bit of an odd one. I'm just going to bring up the browser here just so we can see what I'm looking at. Okay, so we got these two books. They're going to be on Amazon. They're the Random House Kids Stepping Stone books. You've got Treasure Hunt, and you've also got Toy Box Trouble. I don't read a lot of kids books, to be honest, so it's not one of the things I'm too sure quite what a stepping stone book is. But it's nice to see the US starting to get some of those releases.
I feel it's like the US version of the UK having a magazine, basically. Yeah. It's just like a little book here and there. That's it.
It's cool. I think it's a great thing for kids to have books like this. It's one of those funny little things of, you know, why not? I mean, if they can get some extra money out of it, I like the fact that at least they are acknowledging the fact that you've got 2.0 and 1.0 characters in there, because you've got Aladdin in the Treasure Hunt one with Merida and sort of Captain Jack. So that's pretty cool. So.
No, it is cool. It's cool that they're doing that for little kids, for sure. I mean, it keeps the characters they use fresh in their minds and makes the game fun for them. So yeah, it's awesome.
It's cool. That was so they're available on Amazon. They should probably be available in other retailers. The other bit of news this week have been that Disney have introduced a new search facility onto the Disney Infinity official website. You can now go in and you can now do a search. So if you can type in a particular person, or if you're after a specific toy box, you can sort of basically get hold of it. Lauren Mighty Jitis gave us a tip off about that. Personally, great news. It was one of the sort of the biggest problems, I think, with. They said to us that we could have the search facility in 2.0, but it never actually ever came out till to this. So, have you got any thoughts on that search option, Abe?
Well, it's definitely something that somebody like me will find useful. Because I initially had trouble finding toy boxes at first, and then I started adding people to my Disney ID. Then I was starting to find people's boxes that way. But no, it's just great. It's definitely going to make it even more user friendly. So it's awesome. I'm excited for this too.
For me, it's kind of there's two things. Obviously, they've introduced this web search, but they've also introduced this download to your toy box section. So you find the toy box, you can then click the option, and it downloads to your selection. Personally, I think it's a major improvement on it. I originally thought in the sort of search facility on the console versions you were going to be able to save, but that never really came, even though they said that it was going to be coming. So this really makes it easier. So if I said to you, oh, well, check out my new Stitch Rescue, you can find it. You can now go on and do a search and specifically find it. Or if you're after maybe an old toy box that maybe someone's recommended. Or if you're just after, I want a Hawkeye toy box, you can try and find them that way. Hopefully this will kind of help going forward, that they realise that this is a major aspect. I love the fact that you can download things on a website and it comes straight to your console. I think it's exactly what was needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to make things faster as far as, like you said, using your console. You see something you like, you have to download it. It's going to take a few seconds, but it's still, for the one who wants to game and play immediately, it's going to take time.
Yeah.
But doing it on PC and being able to download it immediately, that's awesome.
It also, I think, as well as it helps with like social sharing. It's gonna. It's like I've already like now. It's so much easier for me just to put a link up to one on a new toy box I've made, and for people to find it, then scrolling. If when it's in that initial newest category, it's great. But if there's been 1,000 entries this week, mine's gonna shoot down that list. You might not be able to find it. So it's a great way of toy box artists allow. And it's one of the biggest improvements, I think, from 2.0 was anyone can play those toy boxes,
Yeah.
I mean, like last week, that I put up a Cars toy box, and it's already been played like just under 2,000 times, and that hasn't even been picked. And it's like, well, that is such a... It gives, I know it gives a lot of the toy box artists a lot more inspiration to do it because people are at least playing it, whereas you couldn't do that in 1.0.
That's right.
And I'm not sure whether or not I'm wondering whether or not do you think they may start implementing the web version stuff into it more in future versions? Maybe trying.
It makes sense. I mean, if they didn't, then I feel like they would be going backwards. I mean, it totally makes more sense to do that way. Plus, I mean, they made it cross-platform in the beginning for a reason. So why not actually do the PC as well? You know what I mean? So.
I mean, it's just
I think so. I see it.
Yeah. I mean, I just think maybe in the future, they might add a lot more sort of toy box elements to it, and just the web side of things.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. This week we have 3 new releases. We have some new figures to go out and buy. So we have Green Goblin, Ronan, and Yondu. They are out on Tuesday in the US. Another week for the European collectors. Though who knows with release dates for us at the minute, they're all over the place. Green Goblin can go inside the Spider-Man playset, and Yondu and Ronan can both go inside the Guardians of the Galaxy playset. Some stores have been putting them up early, as per normal. Looks pretty cool. You're gonna pick these up this week, Abe?
Oh yeah, I already tried to pick them up today, but they weren't out. But no, absolutely. I'm excited for Yondu. He's going to be a lot of fun to play with, even though we have him via, team up disc. It's going to be kind of cool to actually being able to level him up and give him his own special moves and see him use that. I guess it would be an arrow, a floating arrow.
Yeah,
I don't even know what it's called.
Flute. It's flute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but anyways, yeah, it's going to be fun. Green Goblin is also something I'm looking forward to. Ronan. Even though he looks the coolest to me, I don't think I'm as excited to play with, but I'm sure he's going to be fun.
I think it's... After watching Guardians of the Galaxy again last week, I think it's one of those things with Ronan is he's a very sort of... From the movie, because that's all I know him from, is he's very straight. There's not really a lot of flexibility. He's very plain, straight up. I'm going to destroy the planet, and that's all I'm worried about. And there's no kind of personality or anything. Maybe the Green Goblin I'm more familiar with over the years because they've had different versions and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I'm actually kind of, as what I'm looking forward to, is I'm kind of gonna when I get the new figures, I'm gonna go back through both play sets and play them again with just the villains, and just that's sort of my aim, just to kind of try and use the play sets a bit more, because I think it's a good opportunity to go back in and play them, and maybe just say to yourself, right, I'm only going to play with these 2 new characters. I'm not using the other ones. No flying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no Iron Man, or I don't know if I'll be able to resist, but yeah, let's just try and go through and get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the next week,
go ahead.
I was going to say in the next week, so we'll have once I get those figures, I'll do some unboxing videos, and we'll try and get some gameplay footage up as well.
You took that right out of my mouth. I was gonna say, hopefully, if I can get my hands on them tomorrow, if not Tuesday, look for some gameplay videos of all 3 of them. You'll probably get the gameplay videos from me because I probably have them before, but I'm sure I'm sure that Roger will be doing the unboxing because
Yes.
I'm impatient and I just like to rip through everything.
I know it's like sometimes I'll have them all in boxes for like a day. I'm getting used to now having deliveries and just everything just now has to get put on a side till can film everything being opened. It sometimes specifically when there's like a blind box of each, I'm like, oh, I want to open it, but no. At least with the Infinity now, I will sit there and play them all for the first night and before I record, just in their boxes.
Yeah.
No. My wife's going, what are you doing? Why aren't you taking them out the box? It's like, no reason.
No, it kind of reminds me of when I got a few of the Disney originals before release, and like you and I were talking about doing videos for, and once you mentioned unboxing, I'm like, yeah, about that.
You're like,
yeah, you're gonna have to do that because I opened them a while ago.
Yeah, I didn't even get back to the car, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
no, but yeah, pick up those 3 figures. They're gonna be awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I am. Although, I don't know if I'm going off on a tangent, but I do find it kind of odd that they decided to separate the three villains and just decided to say, hey, Loki will wait a little bit, and I'm going to throw Yondu in instead.
The only thing I can think of is they've kept Falcon and Loki together for the Avengers playset to make you try and go through the playsets again. But yeah, it did seem a bit odd that the way they split it, rather. But no, it should be interesting.
The thing I came up with was because everybody loves Guardians of the Galaxy, or the majority of the people in the craze, might as well give everybody Yondu and Ronan as fast as possible. That's what I was thinking.
And I suppose they may be thinking of the Avengers stuff tying in with the new Avengers movie in April.
That's true. That's very smart.
Not that I know. I don't know. Is Falcon? I have not seen any kind of thing. Is Falcon in Age of Ultron?
I'm not 100% sure. I heard he might make like a quick little cameo, but I do know that Loki will make a little cameo only because everybody loves him.
He's gonna be.
Yeah, everybody loves him, and he has to have just a little appearance.
Yeah.
But that's what I read a long time ago. I don't know if the final cut has it or not, but for sure we'll get a little bit of Loki. Falcon, I thought we would have a little bit, but it's not 100% sure.
Well, if the plan is to use him, I mean, it depends whether or not they go with Bucky or Falcon to replace Captain America. It makes sense to maybe have him in a scene where he's fighting at some point and bringing him in. Even if he just gets shot, he gets sidelined within a minute, it's not really gonna hurt. But yeah, no, that was what I was wondering, was whether or not they've timed it in to maybe boost it before the movie comes out. The new movie comes out.
I'm just wondering if they're gonna actually give him his old school suit. You know what I mean? Like Falcon, was very military-esque when he was in the old movie. So we'll see.
Depends
if we ever see him.
Yeah, and if that power disc comes out, that might be the one that turns him into looking like
the
movie version.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to give that away. Maybe they're going to give that away with anyone that goes to see the cinema or something like that to get it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It still seems really odd that we've not had any information, but then we still haven't officially been confirmed for the Tron figures yet either.
That's true. Yeah.
So, I was just putting everything down to they had to get Christmas out the way, and they all have to get back to work, and everyone has to get the gears grinding again. But yeah, okay. So, also, we have some new Power Disc Challenge. This was this week's toy boxes. So, there was 6 new toy boxes. We had The Hero by Fan Daniel, which was like a Wreck-It Ralph toy box. You had Black Suit Spider-Man, which was Pirate Steven with his box art. That was pretty cool. Substitutionary Locomotion, which from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Stark Factory Meltdown. Zeus's Quest. And then you also had a Adventures of Stitch toy box that was made by the Toy Box community team. Did you get to play any of these this week?
Just a Stitch one, and it kind of it impresses me to see more and more toy boxes made by the community. I mean, by the team. I'm kind of like waiting for that big epic moment where you see that one toy box that like will show you what they're capable of, but This one was fun. This one was fun.
I actually gonna be honest. I thought the Adventures of Stitch one was not. It didn't. I mean, I like one of the good thing I did like was how they did the water to fly over it with using.
See, that was pretty cool. In my opinion.
Well, that was the thing because the minute I saw it, I went, "That's it. That's how they did it." It's like that's how they can do water. Change the texture. That's like, oh well, yeah. Mental note tick. That's how to do water next time. But I thought it was a bit of quite a simple toy box. It wasn't. I didn't think it was that elaborate compared to some of their other.
It definitely wasn't elaborate, but I still thought it was like, it just shows you what direction they're taking.
Yeah. The actual toy boxes, I've played through all 5 this week. All of those videos will be up, and some of them are already up on the channel of me playing through them. The Hero, which was pretty good. Black Suit Spider-Man, Pirate Steven did a great job of doing. He loves his box art, and he's done some fantastic Spider-Man box art, which just looks pretty impressive. Substitutionary Locomotion. I love bedknobs and broomsticks, and the whole idea of doing a toy box where you're flying around on a bed and you've got to do the football match. And I'm assuming you've seen that movie, Abe.
It's been a while. The thing is, I do remember.
Yeah, see, that one was like one of my key movies when I was a kid. I must have seen that movie like 200-300 times. Every time it's on, I watch it. It's kind of like I've probably seen it more than Mary Poppins. That's probably in that zone for me. So for me, that's always been one of those classic Disney movies. Has been that one. So I must admit, I did love the fact that movie got a full toy box makeover.
No, yeah, the most memorable part of that movie for me is always that football scene. So it's I don't know. I gotta watch it now.
Yeah. Start Factory Meltdown was a good combat one. Baroness is just blasting out the toy boxes. She's just knocking them out left, right, and centre. And so she's really kind of coming up as a toy box artist and she's been getting a few of the challenges as well. Zeus Quest is a Zeus, and whoever built that one, they loved doing the whole. Oh, it had so much stuff underneath to jumping from platform to platform and platform and platform, and Iron Man's amazing on it. He just floats over the lot. I was just like, I'm never gonna finish this in 15 minutes because I'm never gonna get. Because that's the thing, specifically when I'm doing them as well, is I've got to do them within less than 15 minutes due to the PlayStation recording, and
right.
I'm like, I can't get through this in 15 minutes. It's like fly, just to get through it. But yeah, that one was really hard. What I did love was the bit at the beginning, as how he themed it very, with white pillars and white. It was very well done, and I thought overall, because it was the Power Disc challenge, it was so random. You've got big here. You've got Spider-Man, Iron Man, Hercules, Wreck-It Ralph, and Bedknobs and Broomsticks as your 5 challenge. That's quite a range of movies to kind of cover, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, I actually was working on a Toy Story one with the canon from the Toy Story Mania disc. But I got frustrated, so I quit.
Yeah, the Power Disc challenge. I started off trying to create a. I'm just trying to think what I did. I did one with like Falcon's wings, and I wasn't really that happy with how I turned out. I thought I'd just try and do something a bit different, and it didn't really work. And then I made my Power Disc. The trouble is, I think I submitted my Power Disc challenge too early. I did that Santa's Reindeer Roundup, and I think I'm looking back on it. I think I submitted like a few days. I submitted before Christmas, and I think I got in just before it. So, not that it might not have got in anyway, but I'm just looking back and going, well, I think I put it up a bit early because this is the thing with the challenges. You have like a specific week that submissions are due.
To submit it. Mm-hmm.
So it is important to keep track of those dates, specifically if you're trying to get through onto the challenges. The Stitch challenge is currently going on. You've got till Wednesday noon US time to get them in. I'd always recommend trying to get them in before it if possible, just in case there's a delay and it doesn't get picked up. But hopefully this week we will get news on the next 4 to 6 weeks worth of challenges. I know all of the toy box artists, they're all just like itching at the bit. I'm sitting there like, I could be building, like last night I just started building a toy box and was like, no theme, no idea, just starting to kind of play around.
Because this one was the last one, correct?
Stitch is the one. It's the last challenge now. It's so that'll be in.
That's known, obviously.
Yeah, so that one's known. So this is the last one that we know about. But yeah, so hopefully we will know some more toy box challenges coming up this week. So that should be quite interesting. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that pretty much leads us on to kind of like our feature subject for today. Really is genuine, and that leads off the toy box challenge is power discs, and thought we can just have a general discussion with sort of how you know so far. Let's just kick off with what is your favourite Marvel power disc off the top of your head without thinking.
The top of my head without thinking. Shoot. Okay.
First one that
without
comes
thinking.
to
Without
mind.
thinking. Oh, the Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, I love the Infinity Gauntlet. It's, you know, obviously a lot of people who aren't familiar with the comics or what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is leading up to don't know much about it, but it gives you a nice little hint of how powerful that thing is going to be later on.
Yeah,
I think it's a really powerful power disc. I enjoy just seeing it appear and just destroying everything around. But yeah, it's one of my favorites. I actually sometimes double stack that one under my figure because it's just so cool. But that's top of my head, even though it took me 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I kind of said one of the ones I've been using maybe a little bit more was the Black Suit Spider-Man costume change. I just love that character, and it's kind of going to be very hard for me not to pick up a Vita pack just because I love that character. So that one was the one Marvel one that I kind of tend to maybe use more than the others. I do like all the textures and skydomes for the ability to use, and you get extra toys by using the theming, etc. So those are the kind of ones I'm going to use. So now we're going to flip it back onto its head now straight away with the Disney side of the one. So the first one I'm going to think of, so I'm trying to wrap my brains now of which ones I use from the 2.0 side of things. And so far the main one I used was the Gravity Falls Skydome and Terrain when I was building the racetrack toy box. So those are the two that I probably used more than the other ones. So I'm going to shoot that straight back to Abe now. Your favourite 2.0 power disc?
Magic Carpet. Just always been an Aladdin fan.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's a diehard Aladdin fan, so just to see it, it's something we've been asking for since 1.0, like when they were asking what do we want to see, and that Magic Carpet. For me, the two things that came to mind when I've been asking for vehicles is Magic Carpet and Herbie, the love bug.
Yeah,
Herbie. Yeah, that'd be awesome. But we got the Magic Carpet. It's cool. I love the fact that it doesn't just appear out of the sky. It's one of those that you carry around in a little pack behind you, but it's not just a little pack. It's rolled up. I love that. It's my favorite vehicle.
Yeah. Aladdin was I actually watched Aladdin last night. It was on Channel 5. So yes, I did actually watch Aladdin. Yes, only last night. So that was that's quite funny that you said that. So I'm going to say now, this is where of all the power discs, there are two power discs that pretty much are permanently stuck underneath my characters. They're literally on the base the whole time. That is Merlin's Cinema, and I think it's Scrooge McDuck's money maker, because you put them two together and you get extra points. But also, the summoner means that when you're running around, any sparks come straight to you, and also then that the money generator just, I think it adds like 2 or 4% on top of what you do. And I leave them underneath my character pretty much when I'm playing all the time. If you watch my YouTube, if you watch all the videos, you will usually see in the top corner those two power discs. Those are the two that are in pretty much and those have just become my... I've even put the little plastic band that comes in the things, and they just sit there because I don't need... I've honestly going to say, I don't use the power... I've really just finding that those cover what I need. They get everything around me, and I've just really found that I am finding with those power discs, I'm just not using them. Maybe, like, I know some people probably love them, but I can if they took them away tomorrow, it wouldn't actually bother me at all.
I see what you're saying, like, because I do have two discs that I use all the time, but I call it for farming, like when I'm farming for sparks or experience, whatever.
Yeah, they're very good.
I'm gonna try that because for some reason I use the what is it, Captain Jack Sparrow's booty or whatever, and also the what is it, user control, the Tron round disc. I use those two, and I only do it because they collect the sparks around me, and obviously, I don't know if they do the same or one's better than the other. But
I don't know. I know Merlin does the same thing where it brings all the sparks in around you, and it just saves you. I mean, not being funny, but I don't even now know. I don't chase sparks because you don't tend to have to worry. I mean, also my spark meter is now going bonkers because once you get past that initial unlock stage of your, I'm still trying to get some of those 100,000 point ones, but once you get past that, sparks don't become. It's really quite funny. I remember the first sort of for a few weeks where you're just trying to get as many sparks as possible to unlock as much content as possible. Once you've done that, sparks become completely irrelevant. You know, it's I've got can have like 200,000-300,000 sparks in the bank, and you don't actually even notice them kind of moving anymore. Whereas at the start, I was spending them the minute I got to you got enough. I mean, like we said, the spark fact things to sort of boost people up. Yeah, which will be done. Yeah, so you're going to be do it. That's the thing as well. Like you said, with the gameplay, we're trying to get sort of skill trees and stuff. It can be it's a lot more fun to take it slowly, but we know that we have to do it kind of quite quickly because of sort of trying to see the characters at their full potential.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think with power discs, I like how they went. I'm torn. The fact that they did 40 in each series was good in one way. It was made for more trading. It was great to be able to get them all in bulk. But last year we had a series out in April, and there's that thing of would it be quite nice now to have 20 new power discs coming out in 2 months as a nice little final boost?
Oh, are you asking me, or are you?
Yeah.
oh, my bad. Would you? Would it be cool? I'm a little indifferent on that one. I would say it would be cool. Just to get new discs. I do like the idea of everything that's available now type of thing. Only for the discs, not for the figures or playsets, which is what they've done. But I would like that spread out a little bit more. But as far as the disc go, I kind of do like the fact that I can get them quickly. However, because of the sheer number of them, I mean, we got 40, and then what was it? A month and a half, and we got another 40.
Yeah.
It kind of turned me more into a casual collector in a way. Like, for example, I used to want to get all of them, and I got tons. Then I'm more like, you know what? I noticed I did that with Marvel, but then once the Disney ones came, and I wanted to build another set, I'm like, I'm just gonna take my time with this. I'm like, I've bought a pack here and there. I got a pack for like a stocking stuffer. I mean, I have packs that I haven't even opened and I haven't even checked on the disc pad. But would it be nice to have new stuff? Yeah, of course. But luckily, I have 3 figures coming in the next day or 2.
I mean, I still need one Marvel. I still after the Spider. Was it the Spider Terrain disc? I'm still after that one, and I still need. I think the 2 Wreck-It Ralph Skydome and Terrain from Series 1, and I also need, I think, the Peter Pan Skydome as well. And I think one of the rares as well. I must admit, I kind of got them all together, and I kind of forgot about the power discs. It wasn't until I got the album this week that Travis, I got Travis to pick me up the big album. I put up a video of that as well because I actually needed the It's a Small World and I needed the Magical Parade powder. So it was like, well, it's nearly cost effective for me just to pick them up as that pack. And then when I put them in the folder, I suddenly went, oh, I'm missing a couple. I'd actually, I think because I had like 8 tubes of power discs stuffed down the side of the sofa, and I think because it was quite I can see now, having got those power disc folders, how in some ways they are better. I've been finding they have, within a week, I've noticed that it is a lot easier to find the power discs that I need straight away rather than the tubes. So I think I might have been converted to the albums. I think I've been.
Oh, really?
I think I've been because I got the Marvel binder for Secret Santa for Christmas. So I got the 2 albums for 2.0, and suddenly now I'm like, yeah, I can see how this is. Like the other day, I suddenly needed a cannon for the Wreck-It Ralph toy, and I could literally flip the box open, rip it out. If I'd been in the tubes, that would have taken me 5 minutes to try and find the right tube, pull it out, then they'd have all fallen out when I put them back in.
Yeah. I guess for me, what turned me off on the albums is the fact that there is not one consistent album. They're all different, and there's even a series without an album that people have been making, and it's like, and then these new albums are huge. You know what I mean? They're not. The Toys R Us one, and there's not
a little Disney one either.
No, and there's no Disney one. I love this the what do you call it, little plastic folder one. Yeah, but there's no originals one, so it's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think I know now that, you know, when the next lot come out, fingers crossed, I'm going to go straight into an album. I've pretty much decided I'm going to drop the tube Euro, because it was fine last year when I had a few, but once I had like 6-7 tubes down the side and it was okay if I wanted the Marvel one, because I had the Marvel one. I mean, maybe if you've got different coloured ones, but we didn't have them in the UK. We only had the blue and the blue and the red. But yeah, I did specifically find that as we got into having like 150 power discs, the tubes were just becoming really quite. And maybe that was why I didn't use them. That could be why I stopped getting into the habit of using them, because it just wasn't worth the effort. And then when you close it, then they all crunch up, and then you got to redo them. And
I actually figured out how to use that tube finally, like a month and a half ago. Like, there's actually a way to put them in where they never crunch ever once. So I figured that out finally. So that's why they don't bother me as much.
Yeah, it's until the end, then you pick them up, and then the entire thing slides open, and they go all over the floor. And
well, that hasn't happened yet, but
yeah, and I had to pick the sofa up to get the ones underneath of it, because it.
Oh no!
And so you can see how these tubes are suddenly gone from really cool to like, they're really annoying me at this point. It's like a couple.
It's funny for me. For me, the most used discs that I have are in a tube, and it's like right on my entertainment console. And then the ones I don't, I just display. I put them in an album, so it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's like each one has a use.
Yeah, what was quite funny as well is in not the last episode, but in the UK magazine, they gave out this pencil case, which is a power disc holder, and I've been using it because I've been throwing all my traders into the pencil case. And it's just like, actually, there's no order. They're just shoved in there, and it's like for almost like a little trader bag, and that's been working quite well with the power discs.
Well, that works.
Yeah, but I think also just like going forward into future games. I mean, it'd be quite interesting to see how sort of they continue to use the power discs, what the reaction's been to the 40s, how that's worked. I still think there's a kind of thing I think with power discs that, especially with toys, is you feel like, well, you can unlock a toy with sparks, and then you've got to go out and physically purchase another toy to be able to play with it. It does feel, I can see how some people might get annoyed at that additional content, because going out and buying 80 power discs is not going to be cheap.
Oh, it's definitely not, for sure.
No,
but it's like you said, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really need them, so.
No, but I do love the fact. I think it's like, if you're a kid, I mean, they've got that kind of schoolyard sort of swapability, and you've got $4 in your pocket when you've gone out and you buy a packet as your pocket money. There's a whole section in the supermarket now just full of blind bags, and they even call it like pocket money section, and all the power discs are in. I came across this last week. I could never find the power discs in my local supermarket. Finally found them. They were shoved underneath with all the blind bag toys in the toy section, rather than with the video games. I'm going, yeah, well, no wonder I could never. It's not really a section I've ever usually try and root around in. Usually my wife says, no, you can't go in the toy section. We have to keep going food shopping. Just Why are you going down the toy aisle? You don't know. Oh right, okay. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta teach you a few things, Roger.
Yeah, look at that and run over.
It's like, oh, you know what? I forgot to grab some deodorant. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Boom, toy section.
Usually it's walk in. It's like walk into Asda or Tesco's. Like straight. Have a look to see if they've got any like Disney T-shirts or something like that. Because usually always got something on offer. And then it's like quick whiz around to the Infinity section. I don't know. I look every single time. I don't know. Every single time I go to super, I go into look at the Infinity section and kind of. It's like. Yeah, looking, you're like, oh, have they put out Yondu? It was like, just off chance. It's like, they never got. I mean, I went into Asda, and I'm not kidding. The entire wall of figures was 90% Incredible Hulk.
Wow.
I forgot to put it up on on the group. I was like, really? How many? I was like, well, if you're not a fan of Hulk, you're getting nothing in the local store. But yeah, so that was always quite funny. But yeah, I have found, I think with like the 2.0 power disc, I think because they got rid of those the texture of those rares, I think that's helped a lot.
Oh, it's helped a lot, very much. Yeah, I agree.
We don't see that. It doesn't seem to be that any that same sort of talk about rares the same way anymore. They've kind of the only thing.
Well, it's
yeah.
I was gonna say it's funny because I've gotten more rares than I've gotten textures in Skydome,
Yeah.
so it's like the concept of a rare, it doesn't really mean anything anymore. It's more like, you know, did you get a texture? Did you get a sky?
Yeah, I mean, I found that with when I got the Marvel bags originally, was that the amount of circular discs that I got, and I suddenly started going, and after a while I was like, I don't want the circular. I need the and so you pick up the bag and go, oh, that's 2 circles, or you know, you can. I mean, it's the kind of thing of, you know, you can feel the difference, and it's that thing of. I'm kind of in the zone of, you know, if you're picking up a packet and you can feel that it's 2 circles, you know, you're not really even sort of, you're not standing there tracking to see if they're working, etc. And you know, there's a kind of thing of, well, you know, it's naturally going to happen. You're going to put a box there. You can't really see you can't see. It's all just a guess. You know, you can still pick them up and have 2 circular discs or 1 of each, etc. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and if you're going to stand there in a box and then try and feel your way through an entire box, you know, everyone's looking at you going, what, you know, it's, you know, and in all honesty, is it really going to, you know, you could still get 2 hex discs that you've already got. It's just not really going to make that much of a benefit, really.
Yeah.
But no, I do think by them dropping that sort of, those little texture things has really helped with the rares, and I really hope they continue on with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Eventually it's going to be that way where I don't know, there's just really not going to be a rare.
No.
I think
I understand why they've gone down the rare route. I think it's one of those things as well, as like, you know, you look at, like, for example, like the Skylander trap team stuff of all those little traps. You know, the shops, you know, I mean, the prices have been all over the place, and you know, when I look at them compared to a power disc, well, the power disc actually offers a lot more value than a trap. In terms that it's only like literally like, especially if you get them in a promotion, you know, you're only paying $1 or $2 for it, compared to like $10 for a trap. Which, by the way, I sold pretty much all. I sold 3/4 of my Skylander stuff this week. I decided that's it. I haven't had any. I brought Trap Team on day 1. I played it twice, and it sat there for 2 months without even just collecting dust. And I decided to clear them all out. So yeah, so I've officially jumped back off the Skylander pile.
I am already there myself. I just haven't sold them yet, but that's definitely what I plan to do.
I mean,
I plan to possibly get a PlayStation TV with it.
I just literally had this box, and I just realised, I thought, there's no point me doing this anymore. I just decided I'm fine now with building toy boxes. I just haven't got the time to sort of spend doing like another game. So yeah, so I actually officially jumped out. So I was only a Skylanders in for about a year, but yeah, I've jumped back out. Can't afford to do both. Don't want to do both. I just haven't got enough space for them all. So yeah. Anywho, but yeah, since I brought Skylanders up, yeah, I think in generally with power discs, I mean, it'll be interesting to see where they go in the future. I think it's like Star Wars. If they go down the Star Wars line for the next game, the power disc options just, it's like the Marvel. There's just thousands of options that they could bring in.
Oh, and those are going to sell very well too.
Yeah,
they are. It's so much you can do.
I mean, just ships, vehicles, weapons, team up discs. Do you use the team up and the event discs very often?
I do. I do a lot of multiplayer. I mean, obviously, you do most of your toy box building in it, but I do a little multiplayer, and it's just fun. Like, for example, Travis and I will like unleash like as many enemies as possible, and we'll go at it and just fight them all. What are they called again? I always forget. The hammerhead shark. Whatever. It's
from
one of the
from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Pirates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know why I'm having difficulty remembering, but anyways, he's like one of the hardest enemies to defeat. He'll block, he'll roll, he'll keep attacking, shoot his gun. And so, like, we'll put down, like, as many as possible to the point where the computer's like, okay, it's going to affect everything if you don't stop doing this. So, like, we'll use the event disc or even the team-ups to give us a little bit of breathing room, because it's tough. But, no, it's fun. I use it when we do the Toy Box game discs.
Yeah.
When you get overwhelmed, you can summon, Yondu, and he'll help you out, or... just it depends on what you're doing. Yeah. Usually, it's a lot of fun with the multiplayer. So I mean, depends what kind of player you are.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great to know, like from the viewers and listeners, how you're using the power discs. Is there any particular ones you're enjoying? Anything you don't like about them? I usually tend to forget that I've got them, and I forget that the charged, or I've usually died or something like that, and I've lost the ability to do it. But yeah, so But I have this, but then I would say on the side of the power disc it's one thing, but there is one side that I have like you said, I've now become a toy box builder. So now the terrains and the sky domes are now become the most important to me.
They're precious to you.
Last year, I never used them. I didn't see the point in them. I just like, well, I had all those terrain ones, never used them. I've used the terrain discs more in the last couple of months than I did the whole of the first year, because it's not just the sky domes, but the texture discs, being able to choose extra options and stuff for making a few Christmas ones, having like Nightmare Before Christmas or Frozen was a big thing. Now, like, if they put out a challenge next week, you want to, if they're using one of those powders, you want to use it because it's there and it makes it feel better. So I've maybe slided a lot more into the texture discs and sky domes this year. And where last year I didn't see the point in them. So
it makes sense the way you play the game. It almost shows you that there's a power disc for every type of player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of cool.
It's kind of quite interesting. Like you say, like you're a multiplayer game and you use a lot of the event discs, etc. Whereas I've now toy box building, using those discs because I might spend 3 hours last night building a toy box. I'm not necessarily needing an event disc. I've not got any enemies to kill, so it's only it's. So I did mistakenly set up a game starter disc to some enemy generators set to locators, of which I'd maxed out the whole enemy generator to 10 of each, still on the whole thing. My graphics bar went boom. It was just like, and the whole box just snowed to a halt. I'm like, yep, that's not gonna work. That's way. And I'm all like defending the spaceship. It's like, no, I'm gonna have to really. And also find that the guns as well. You put the automated gun turrets down. They kill your graphics memory. I had them like set up around the ship as defense. I put like 24 of them around all over this area, but graphics memory just went. As I'm starting to delete them, going, it's not quite the same challenge anymore now. But if they want
right.
But yeah, I think that is the thing with power discs, is like you say, is you've got different options, different different versions. I do think the costume change discs are a nice option. I think they offer a lot more than they did in the first game, because like, you know, some of those round discs, in all honesty, you really wouldn't tell you had them on.
But here's the thing about the costume change discs that are they're great, they're phenomenal, but they're also kind of like leaves you a little upset. And the only reason why I say that is because, you know, now that I get to play Jack Sparrow as, you know, his dead version, you know, because he's still, it's like, oh, I wish I could play the 1.0 playset with that, you know what I mean? Or even the introduction of costume change discs makes you think, oh, I could have had a classic looking Mickey as opposed to a sorcerer Mickey. That could have been the actual costume change disc. So it's like, you know, it has its pros and cons, but the fact that they're introduced, that's awesome.
The thing is, as well, as I'm maybe like looking a step ahead of maybe, you know, not being funny, but in 5 years' time, you know, they're gonna have all these characters, they're gonna have all these power discs, all these costume changes. They're gonna just keep creeping up. You know, they're gonna, you know, they keep coming out. Like what about this year if they bring out a Disney power disc set, a Marvel power disc set, and a Star Wars power disc set? You know, it's going to keep growing, you know, and if they keep going back to the older characters and giving them a few sort of things here and there, you know, they're just going to keep growing. And I do think the costume changes are a lot better way than having new figures.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, I do hope that they figure out a way to make a power disc change disc. I'm sorry, a costume change disc, to where every character that you use changes into that. That would be kind of cool if they can figure that out.
I don't know necessarily.
Well, think about it. Think about it. Like, for example, Donald Duck, like the Three Musketeers.
That's the one.
I'm like, dude, Mickey and Goofy are in the same costume. Why can't Mickey change into it? That's what I'm talking about.
That makes complete sense. You know, if you could use the Donald one and they could use it in different versions, that would make sense. I don't want to see Iron Man dressed up as a Musketeer.
No. That I get, but I'm talking about, like, let's say, for example, holidays come by and there is a Santa hat costume change disc. So why can't everybody have it? That's what I'm referring to. Not like let's make I don't know. let's make Rapunzel into Sorcerer Mickey or whatever.
Black suit Rapunzel.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah, but that's what I meant though. It's more so like where a disc that allows you to actually add that attribute to every character that you have. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Like, you know, like you say, you could have like a Halloween or a St. Patrick's Day kind of just some odd little sort of side things like that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I just think in general, I think it's one of those things with power discs. I don't think they're not going to be going away anytime soon.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
I do think over now we've had like 5 different series. I think people have got maybe a better idea of what to do with power discs. Maybe that initial rush that we got when that first series came out, that seems to have all died down now. People aren't quite so much in a rush. People will hold off a little bit more. There's always an initial rush of the first couple of weeks, but people are maybe a little bit more patient with those power discs now than they used to be when the first game came out.
Oh yeah, and then also with like communities like ours, you know, it's so easy to trade with people, and you know, you end up saving a lot of money that way. So
yeah, I mean, I still would say to anybody that was buying a power disc, I mean, sometimes new people come in and say, well, should I? And I will admit to some people and say, look, if you're starting off fresh, don't buy power discs. I would suggest, if you've got $30, buy a playset. Buy Guardians, or buy a figure rather than spending your money on do power discs last. You know, it's not it's not essential. If you've got a choice, if you've only got $100 to spend on Infinity, you know, I wouldn't include power discs in that pile. I'd use that money. That's what I would recommend to new people joining in. And,
I agree.
You know, it's kind of like you say, it's an added bonus rather than an essentiality. Okay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think going forward, you know, we're going to discuss in the next few months. We're going to kind of do a little bit more sort of speculation into what we'd like in the future. We've had this couple of discussions about this. Of, you know, really between sort of now and until the announcement, we're all pretty much kind of going to be in speculation mode, of what we think is going to be coming through. So because we literally need to sit down and write down a list of power discs that we want to see in the future, and we're going to need a little bit more thing than trying to wing it off the top of our heads.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like you say, like Herbie. I don't want Herbie as a power disc. I want him as a figure. I want him as cars. I want him as things like that.
Like a Cars car.
Yeah, I'd rather have. I love Herbie. I'd rather see him as a character. I don't like. It's like the vehicles. They should be a vehicle, not an actual character. That kind of thing. I would like. Like
I can see that.
Aladdin's carpet. No point as a figure because can't really do a lot as a carpet. But Herbie is very, is a character.
Yeah,
he's not really a vehicle.
You can sort of say the same thing about carpet, but like to you see the carpet as a figure. I'm sorry, as a vehicle.
Yeah.
I do see Herbie as a character, but I kind of see him more as a vehicle than, because the main characters, like, I don't know. I see your point. Yeah, I definitely see your point.
I think, and also, Carpet hasn't had like 10 movies. Herbie has.
Okay, that's true. I get that point.
I think the trouble is now I think this is where the power disc comes in. Is the Herbie power disc is going to make more sense from Disney if they look at it and go, well, we aren't producing anything new. Herbie, is Herbie car actually going to sell very well on the shelves to kids now because they're not going to know who he is or all the rest of it. Whereas
that's why the power disc will work. Yeah,
power discs work very well and toys in general. They work as little nods. They can put that Bedknobs and Broomsticks bed in, and that sidecar from the motorbike and sidecar from Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Right. With the motorcycle. Yeah.
Stuff for old folk like us that remember the movie, we can Bedknobs and Broomsticks. But if they put out a figure of King John, kids aren't going to want to buy it. There's a kind of.
Oh, why not?
I don't. It'd be like, what is that old thing? It'd be like, yes. It kind of think that was like 2D.
Yeah, that kind of makes me feel a little depressed though, because that's why I feel Darkwing Duck's fate is because kids, they don't really know much. That you'll probably only get them as power discs, which sucks. But
yeah, but I think that's the thing. Is like when people talk about like when people request, but then if they do the Tron figures, I review them as a lot lower down the peg than Darkwing Duck, but
the only thing is they're a little bit more relevant because they had the cartoon series and they had the new movie as opposed to Darkwing Duck was early 90s kids cartoon show, so it's like I get that.
But then there again, it's that thing of like, would something like a Darkwing Duck figure be more beneficial if they literally said, right, we're going to release them, but we're going to maybe make them lower amount, produce a lot less of them. So when they've gone, maybe just kind of go, right, we're going to make half as many because we're not expecting them to sell as many, and just
go the amiibo route.
Yeah, and then if they turn out to be popular, reorder them and just put say, well, or even just make it an online exclusive, or do something. There's no reason why if they go down that route of maybe because Disney have gone down this thing of everything's available to everyone in all stores. And for some characters, it might not necessarily make sense why, like Francesco was forever. He was an unpopular character, so they probably made too many of him.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. It's a simple fact that they're going to keep polling their fans, see what they really want, and maybe they might throw it in there. Like, if people keep requesting Darkwing Duck over and over again, then maybe, just maybe, he might make it. But I think it makes more sense to go with the core characters, your core animated movies, and whatever's new, too, obviously. So, well, I think, you can scratch Into the Woods out of that list, because it didn't get really good reviews, unfortunately. But
I find the exact opposite about that. I thought it was up for a Golden Globes and has been getting quite good.
No, the reviews. A lot of people go off of Rotten Tomatoes out here.
Oh yeah.
and the reviews, unfortunately, are not consistent. I don't really follow Rotten Tomatoes as much as far as my viewing experience goes. But I think viewing the movie, it didn't, because I got to see Into the Woods in high school as a high school production,
I've
and it
never
was
heard of
great.
it.
I loved it. Yeah, I love it. I grew up obviously watching it, but the movie was okay. I don't want to say it was phenomenal.
See, my wife, she saw the trailer and she goes, I want to see that movie. But,
that's exactly what we did too.
But it's gonna be, I think it's like for us, it will be a pick it up on Blu-ray when it comes out, because it's not worth spending £20 or $30 to go cinema to see it, kind of thing.
And see, that's how I was too. But there was an opportunity for my girlfriend to go see it with her family, and luckily I decided to not go.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just heard a lot of negativity. She loves Chris Pine, and apparently he's dropped down the list of her favorite actors because of this movie.
Oh,
so I don't know. But everybody's their own critic. People might like Into the Woods. I still, like I said, enjoyed it in high school, but I don't see it to make any type of relevant appearance into Disney Infinity.
I think it's that kind of thing of I mean, we've still got that Cinderella live action version coming. It's like Maleficent, etc. I still feel like these live action versions of the classic ones, it just feels like a sort of a lazy sort of way of keeping those characters relevant without sort of essentially just saying, right, we want to redo the cartoon in 3D. You know, that kind of, it. I don't know. It's like the Cinderella movie. I mean, I'll be honest. You know, the Cinderella movie on the original one was never really a big appeal to me. I'm a guy. It just didn't jump out at me. You know, if you're gonna put Cinderella up against, Age of Ultron, for me there's no kind of competition. But my wife would probably do the exact opposite. There is that thing of, everyone's got different appeals, and obviously certain characters in different movies appeal more to a video game. And I think it's like Into the Woods it's one of those things of there hasn't been any kind of tie-in with the movie. They don't seem to have made any. Whereas Maleficent, they did try and do something with it. So it's it is, like I said, I don't think every single Disney movie is going to be part of Infinity.
No, neither do I.
But I don't think, for example, Into the Woods is considered, I would put it in that same category of type of movie where you've got Big Hero 6 is merchandise. They're going to make more money on the merchandise than they are on the movie. Into the Woods, is there any merchandise?
You know what? That mentality came from way early before official announcement of Disney Infinity 1.0. And the reason why I say that is a lot of advertisement showed Oz. Yeah. And you got hints that they were coming to Disney Infinity. Yeah. And I'm sure they probably were planning to bring them into the game.
Yeah.
Because why would they put them into their advertisements and whatnot? Then the movie bombed, didn't do so well, and then all of a sudden it disappears from the game. Luckily, it was ahead of time before the release. So that mentality of possibly every movie they release being into the game, that's where that comes from.
Yeah.
As far as Into the Woods and merchandise and all that stuff, yeah, there's little merchandise here and there, but is it as big, in my opinion, big enough for the younger public to want it in a game? Highly unlikely.
Yeah.
Cinderella, yes, and the reason, because you have your classic animated movie. Maleficent came from your classic Sleeping Beauty movie. You know what I mean? So it's that makes sense.
A built-in zone.
Exactly.
I mean, I'd love for them to. It would have been so cool for them to put out Cinderella as a single character figure, unannounced. Literally drop it a week before the movie comes out and just say Cinderella out. You can pop it on and you feel like, well, that should. Why wasn't? Because they can base it on the. Basically it's going to be a girl, so it's going to be a stylized version anyway. So it's not like it's going to be based on the actual, the character, the TV or the movie version. They could put out Cinderella as a single princess, and I don't know why they didn't do that. If they're to try and tie in with the Blu-ray and the movie release, it just seems like unless they're leaving it for 3.0. It seems a bit late.
And see, that's the thing. I feel like that formula is set. It's just not perfected. For example, like what they're doing, or what they attempted to do, obviously, because you already have the figures, but what they attempted to do with Big Hero 6 out with you guys, because the movie hadn't been out yet, they're going to hold back the release of those figures. And that makes sense. You know, let's release the figures when the movies are coming out, when it's relevant, kind of like promoting it in a sense. That's cool. I mean, like, for example, the Christmas special that Toy Story did on TV, the one that had to do with the dinosaurs or whatever. When they aired it, in the middle, during commercials, it said, corresponding to blah, 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 new toys. Yeah. And they released a new toy set themed to that special. Yeah. And that's something that would be cool if they did with Infinity. It's like you said, Cinderella's about to be released, whether it be the classic on Diamond Edition Blu-ray or the new live-action movie. Hey, corresponding to the movie, here's Cinderella, Disney Infinity figure. Go knock yourself out, go, have fun. But
I also think this is where there's been some discussion with other sort of collectors and stuff about how maybe Disney Infinity it's put out as a platform rather than a single video game. Right. And at the minute, it's still feeling, it's like these annual updates, etc. If it's a platform, and I think this is where this whole Tron DLC kind of downloader stuff comes in, is if that's when they, until they get to that point, how all the way, that's when they can really master this. When they maybe drop away from these annual updates, like we joke about like 3.0, but in all honesty, if they came out and just said in September there's going to be a Star Wars playset with some figures, the Toy Box starter pack can still stay on the shelves. They're not going to do that yet because they haven't got to there, but they're not treating it like maybe fully as a platform yet because of the DLC side of things. Maybe because they've got rid of the Wii now, they can concentrate on it a bit better. But like you said,
that mentality to me sounds more like a PC game to me, which makes sense. Like a big example for me would be World of Warcraft. You would buy the main game, and you would play it, and they would release new content in the form of a patch, and so now you had new dungeons, new weapons, and everything. Then if they wanted to do this big, significant overhaul, they release an expansion. Yeah. And that's where the new disc comes in, so 2.0. But then after that happened, again, more patches, more new content.
Well, it's not even patches, a new disc. It's updates.
Yeah. Well, each update has its patch. It's necessary to fix. But anyways, that'd be kind of cool. And like you said, hopefully with Tron, maybe this is the doorway to that.
It's a test. I mean, I think there's still. I mean, there's been a lot of sort of talk about how that year. If they go into this yearly turnaround for starter packs and updated games, is it being too rushed? Is it not? Whereas a platform, if they put out Cinderella, for example, next month as a single figure with a Toy Box game disc, that would be much more useful. They don't. I think the Toy Box just can keep adding to it, isn't it? But I think until they get to that point where they can keep adding to it, I mean, I'd still like to see. I don't want to see just the Toy Box as it is. That stays for the next 5 years because they just keep churning out more and more toys. I want them to keep updating the software and making it better. But maybe trying to do a yearly update might be too much of a stretch, because that was, I think a lot of people complained that 2.0 what felt like some of it was a little bit rushed because it didn't fit it compared to 1.0. The play sets, etc., didn't have that same feel to it, and I think that has put a few people off.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it did feel a little rushed, and I think it does have to do with the fact that with 1.0 they had a lot more time to work on it, and as opposed to this one, they had a whole year to finally perfect and release. But then also it kind of brings up the subject of people saying, like, why do they have to buy another game disc? Why do I have to buy, like, just to clarify, if you want to play the new Call of Duty game, you're going to have to buy the new Call of Duty game. That makes sense there. But as far as what you're saying, buying it because it's being put out fast and it's rushed, then that I completely agree with. It's just, You know what? Maybe it wasn't rushed, but the fact that there's no Disney playset kind of made it feel rushed.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And I think it's like, we went from 6 to 3 playsets. People just didn't quite that. It still is a sore subject for a lot of collectors, a lot of fans. They just don't like the fact that they haven't got their Disney playsets, and I mean, it's like to say, even if they could, I think it's one of those things with Infinity is that, like we said with Call of Duty, when you get Call of Duty 7 or whatever, the new one comes out, people don't want to go back and play 6. They don't want to go back and play 5. But I think with Infinity is a different mindset to the fact of they still want to put down the Toy Story playset. They still want to go, because to most people it's still the same game. It hasn't been. I think that's a difference. With me, I'll admit, I'm used to, the new Assassin's Creed game come out. Well, I've sold my old one. I don't go back and play Assassin's Creed 4 after I've got Unity. But I think with playsets, the mindset's slightly different. There's a bigger audience, a wider audience from your hardcore gamer, which just wants new.
No, that's very true. That's very true. And I guess it's that mentality of wanting to re-explore your previous playsets with, you had 6, you have your Toy Story and everything, and the lack of Disney playsets here, it makes you want to go back to them even more.
Yeah.
And as far as them saying, well, you know what, our playsets are 4 times bigger than the largest playset last time, so they are more content. Yes, but
if you don't like Guardian, if you don't, I was
going to say, if you don't like Marvel, that does nothing for you. And another point is, yes, you make it 4 times bigger, but you now added flying characters. You just dwarfed your 4 times bigger because your character can fly from one point to the other really fast.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, you put Groot down and you're plodding through, and you're like, and then and then you whack on Nova, and you're onto the other side of the. Like you said, that 4 times the toy box completely just gets soaked when you're flying at full speed. It's like when you're building a toy box. You build the toy box, and when you're flying around, zipping around, you put that thing, or you go collect this and go collect that and go collect this. When you're flying, bring it back. When you're using Groot, you suddenly realize that's an arduous, treacherous plod, and it's like, it's not quite as fun, and I think that's, like you say, it's different characters and stuff, but like you said, the playset size kind of is meaningless now in terms of size. I don't see that as I think if you did put Nova into the Incredibles playset, he would just bounce off the walls.
Yeah. And I mean, even the fact that you had flying vehicles in 1.0, the flying mechanics were so far off that it still made it harder to get from one point to the other, even though it's still a little easier. But now that the flying mechanics are better, and now that you can fly with a figure, it's just...
So I played one of these Guardians toy boxes, and I'm trying to fly this thing, and I hadn't really realised it. And I just thought the flying mechanism on a vehicle was really bad compared to flying like with a character. And someone put on a comment going, "Oh, it's painful watching you fly because you need to use the up on the other controller." And I'm like, "Oh my!" I put it on did it. I'm like, I can't believe the last 2. I was like, I didn't realise you had the up on the other side to go up. And I'm like, no wonder I was struggling so much on some of the Guardians stuff with flying, where. Like how I got through some of the set is like, I missed the whole ups thing, and it's like it wasn't until someone had commented, I'm like, I'm like, how did I miss such a simple thing of just missing an up on the arrow on the controller to go up, because you're just so used to going forward. I think because you're flying characters, I got so used to flying with them. The when I put in a vehicle, I'm like, well, it's not moving right. It's just like. That was. I'm sure
you were talking in your head saying they improved the flying mechanics. Yeah, right. This sucks.
Because that's the thing when you put up footage of you playing a game, because everyone's picking. Because normally, if you're playing rubbish at home, no one would know. But it's like, I put it up for you all to kind of go, "You're doing it wrong. You're not doing it right." Like, sorry.
Whoops.
Yeah. So I completely messed up on that one. Right,
That's
well, I
funny.
think we're coming to the end of this toy box. This toy box is the end of this show. Thanks to A for joining me in sunny California. It's a wet and wild and windy day here in the UK, so I know I'm going to be spending a lot of time today working.
It's actually the same over here today, believe it or not.
Oh, there's a breeze.
It's wet and windy.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be doing a few bits and pieces for the new look site today, I think, by the looks of it, to use my time a bit more efficiently. So if you are on YouTube, remember, hit that subscribe button. We have got a competition going this month to win a $25 gift certificate for DisneyStore.com online. So you can buy Infinity figures or Vinimations or Zoom Zooms or whatever else you want to spend your money on. You'll find that on the channel. How do you pronounce it?
Zum.
Zum.
Yeah, like just silent T.
Yeah, because I'm going Zoom. I'm not entirely sure if that's right or not.
It sounds like you're doing a Mazda commercial.
Yeah. Zoom or Zoom. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. This guys keep going to zum.
To sums. Yeah. That's what I used to call them too.
and then everyone's just going, "What idiots?
What are you guys doing?"
You know, you can't even pronounce it properly. It was like. It's funny though.
Wait, what? Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's like when people sometimes when people see the word Vinomation and they can't, it's like, they pronounce it completely different because you get so used to saying, how it's pronounced kind of thing. Yeah,
Vinomation. It took a while too for Vinomation. I was like, those vinyl things.
Yeah.
I was going to say, stay tuned within the day or two for those gameplay videos. Yes, once I get them, I'm gonna level them up as much as I can, and then just make a short video.
Yeah.
And then you will unbox them eventually.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it depends. I mean, they're out here at the end of. I think it's the end of next week in the UK. But sometimes they do ship out early, so I'm hoping I get them not as late. I don't know why we got the 23rd as a UK release date, but then I think Jasmine's been pushed back to March for us, so it's really kind of.
Oh no, that's weird.
Yeah, I don't know it's. But, if I want to ship it from Germany, it might be a bit quicker.
That might work.
Yeah, so I'm not too sure yet what's going on with that one. But anyway, guys, if you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, remember you can subscribe on the audio version there. And check us out at VinimationKingdom.com. And, just let me know. We did really just do a wing it episode where we just went off on tangents. But sometimes we need to do that just to get it out of our system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure next week we'll have the new figures to talk about, or at least I will.
Yes, that'll be next week's show. We can kind of find out how they work and what works good with them. So fingers crossed we get them. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you guys next week.
Adios.
Adios, amigo.
Adios.
Yeah. Ándale, arriba.